This video is sponsored by UPDF.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Michael. You're watching IDB. In this video, I want to discuss the Apple Watch. So believe it or not, the Apple Watch is still one of Apple's newest product lines. It's still less than 10 years old, but in just those 9 years, it has seen tremendous growth as a product. It seems like owning an iPhone is synonymous with owning an Apple Watch at this point. Everywhere you see an iPhone user, it seems like they also have an Apple Watch on their wrist. This product has seen tremendous growth in just under 10 years. And in fact, this is the most popular watch in the world. Not just the most popular smartwatch, but the most popular watch in the world. So with all that said, I want to take time in this video to discuss why I love my Apple Watch so much. I want to share some of the things that I use my Apple Watch for on a daily basis that make this thing essential in my daily life. So let's just go ahead, roll the intro, and jump right in. The first topic I want to cover is monitoring your health, and there are 3 applications on the Apple Watch that I use for this. The first one is the heart rate application. Now this app has seen a redesign quite recently. I like how it looks, but you have 4 separate pages inside of heart rate. So the first one is it's simply going to measure your current heart rate. You can see right here we have the animation, and it's very accurate. It doesn't even have to be on your wrist. You can see my fingers are on the back of the Apple Watch, and it's still getting my heart rate. It'll also tell you a recent heart rate from a reading a couple of minutes ago. And then if you scroll down, it's going to show you your range for the day. So it'll show you as low as your heart rate went and then as high as it went. Also, it'll show you your resting heart rate. Then if you go even further, it's going to show you your average walking heart rate. It's still morning and I haven't really done anything today, so it doesn't have this metric for me. But throughout the day, it's going to show you your walking average for your heart rate. So for a smartwatch, this seems like a pretty basic feature. But if we think back to like 10 years ago, before the Apple Watch was a thing, checking your heart rate actually wasn't that easy. You'd have to put 2 fingers on your wrist and try to determine what your pulse was. But here with smartwatches, it's so easy to quickly check your heart rate anytime, anywhere. And the next application for monitoring your health is blood oxygen. Now this is a relatively new feature for the Apple Watch, and Apple put some impressive technology into the watch to be able to measure blood oxygen, because it actually is very, very hard to measure blood oxygen saturation from your wrist. This feature has been really, really crucial for me, especially lately, because I've been battling quite a bad infection. And you can see my blood oxygen was 94% 20 hours ago. And anything below 95% is not ideal. So this has been very, very handy for me in the last couple of weeks, trying to monitor my improvement as I'm on antibiotics. So if you are not feeling well, if you're fighting a fever, it's definitely quite cool to open up the blood oxygen application and see just how you're doing in terms of that metric. And also, when I was in the doctor's office, you know how they have that little oxygen sensor they put on your finger? I compared that result to the result on my Apple Watch, and it was actually exactly the same, which is kind of cool. So the blood oxygen reader in the Apple Watch, even though it's taken from the wrist, is surprisingly accurate. And then the final application for measuring health metrics is the ECG feature, or electrocardiogram. This is probably the most futuristic application on the Apple Watch. Before the Apple Watch existed, you were not able to take an ECG pretty much anywhere outside of a hospital. You can see here it's all over the place because it really does have to be on your wrist to work. But when the circuit is closed and the Apple Watch is contacting the back of your wrist and you put your finger on the crown, you are able to get a full clinic grade ECG right on your Apple Watch. And then it's going to send a PDF of that ECG result to your iPhone. And then from there, you can forward it to your doctor if you need to. So like I said, the Apple Watch was the first device that had FDA approval to get an ECG reading on your wrist, which is crazy. I know that my dad uses this every time before he goes into the doctor's office. So it's just really a cool feature to have on your Apple Watch to check your heart health. And if you have an irregular rhythm, such as AFib, the Apple Watch can detect that. And in fact, some people who didn't even know they had AFib took an electrocardiogram on their watch, and their watch actually ended up saving their life, which is a really, really cool feature and definitely makes the Apple Watch worth the price when it's saving your life, literally.
We will get right back to talking about the Apple Watch, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by UPDF, the ultimate all-in-one PDF editor that offers a seamless experience across all of your devices. With UPDF, you can easily annotate, edit, convert, and even chat with your PDFs. Their AI assistant is like ChatGPT, but specifically for PDFs. And one of my favorite features is converting a PDF into a mind map to help visually organize the information and brainstorm. Editing and deleting text on any platform is smooth and intuitive. It doesn't matter what device you're on, you'll enjoy a hassle-free experience. Plus, their AI-powered character recognition lets you turn scanned documents into editable files. And the best part is, one payment covers UPDF on 4 devices across all platforms, and this is at a fraction of the cost of Adobe Acrobat. Plus, you'll get 110 gigabytes of cloud storage. Right now is the time to upgrade your PDF game. You can get UPDF at a huge discount, and when you do, you'll enter for a chance to win an iPhone 16. So click the link below to check it out, and thanks to UPDF for sponsoring this video.
So all of those health monitoring features were just number 1. Number 2 is fitness motivation and closing your rings. So the rings have been a part of the Apple Watch since its inception. It's a very simple concept, but I love how Apple has sort of gamified fitness. We have 3 rings. The red one is called Move, the green one is the exercise ring, and the blue one is Stand. And essentially you have to move around and stand up and exercise enough throughout the day where you can get these circles to close all the way. You can see here that if we scroll, we can get more metrics. So we have a graph here for each of our rings. So here is Move, here is Exercise, and here is Stand. If you scroll down a bit more, you can see even more. You can see how many steps you've taken, how much distance you have walked, and how many flights of stairs you have climbed. And then also at the very bottom, it's going to show if you have done any workouts. So I think having these rings and sort of gamifying fitness on the Apple Watch definitely makes it more fun, and it's sort of like having a personal trainer on your wrist at all times. And then another aspect of closing your rings, which makes it even more addicting, is the awards. You can see all of the awards that you can achieve. So here are some limited edition ones. It just makes it kind of fun, and it just kind of gamifies it, as I said, closing your rings every single day. You can also choose to compete with other people. So if you want to compete with your friends, family to close your circles or your rings, you can choose to do that, and it just makes it more fun, and you can motivate each other as you try to close your rings every day. Next up at number 3 is convenience features. This one is probably going to be a lot of your guys' favorite and the reason why you guys own an Apple Watch. So convenience features are things such as having your smart stack right here on your main watch face. So anytime you can simply swipe up and see anything you want. I use this all the time whenever I have a timer going, for example. So if I go ahead and start a timer, if I'm on my watch face and swipe up, I can see my timer right there. It's also really nice having Apple Pay right on my wrist. All I have to do is simply double tap the side button and my credit card is right here, and I can tap my Apple Watch and pay anywhere. It's also really convenient having access to Siri right on the watch. So you can simply raise your watch to your face and start talking, or you can press and hold the crown and start talking to Siri. What's the weather in London? And as you can see, I have a newer watch, so Siri is very, very fast because it's doing all of the voice transcription on device and it's not sending it to the cloud. So Siri is ultra fast on the newer Apple Watch models, and it just makes it that much better. Another convenience feature I love is pinging my iPhone. I probably use this every single day because I lose my iPhone in the couch. But inside of Control Center, if you click on this ping iPhone button, you're able to find your iPhone if it's within Bluetooth range. Next up at number 4 is emergency features. To show this, I'm going to jump into settings because the Apple Watch has a lot of emergency features. So here inside settings, if you scroll down until you see SOS, you're going to see all of the features that the Apple Watch has to offer. So simply emergency SOS is a basic feature where you can press and hold the side button and you have SOS right here. You can swipe for emergency call and it's going to dial 911 or whatever the corresponding emergency number is for whatever country you are in. That's one of my favorite features is I know that my Apple Watch knows my location. So if I'm traveling abroad and the emergency number is not 911, if I swipe on SOS, my Apple Watch is going to call the correct number. Also, fall detection, this is amazing. I've never had to use this, luckily. You can choose to have it always on or only on during workouts. So I'm just gonna choose always on. Now, what's really cool about this feature is if you fall and then your Apple Watch detects that you have not moved for 30 seconds, it is automatically gonna call 911 or emergency services for you. This could literally save your life, and Apple actually has stories about this feature saving people's lives. Now, I fell. Now, I didn't injure myself. This was a few years ago, but I was shoveling my sidewalk and it was icy, and I fell and I landed on my wrist. And what's really cool is my Apple Watch was able to detect that fall and it told me, "It looks like you've fallen, are you okay?" Just knowing that my Apple Watch was able to detect that fall is so much reassurance, knowing that if I had knocked myself unconscious, I was going to survive thanks to my Apple Watch. And then another feature which is relatively new is car crash detection. This is in newer iPhones and newer Apple Watches. So the Apple Watch has a G-force meter and it is able to detect car crashes. So it's going to use the G-force meter and also the microphones on the Apple Watch to detect a car crash. And again, if it detects you have been in a car crash and you have not moved after 30 seconds, it is going to call emergency services for you. Again, this is just another feature that could actually save your life. And another feature which I cannot show you because I don't have the higher end Apple Watch Ultra is the siren. But if you own the highest end Apple Watch, the Ultra, it has a pretty loud siren. Now what that siren is useful for, in my opinion, is if you are someone who skis or snowboards. Because if you ski or snowboard, you know that you run the risk of being covered under a bunch of snow in the event of an avalanche. And if that happens, it's really convenient to have a siren right on your wrist to help the emergency responders find your location and save you. And next up at number 5 is customization and style. It feels kind of weird to talk about something as trivial as this after I talked about the features that could literally save your life, but it still is a pretty cool aspect of the Apple Watch, all of the ways you can customize it. So the first way you can customize it is simply with watch faces. Now, we don't have third-party watch faces. However, the Apple Watch supports so many different styles of watch face. You can have something simple like this, like solar. You can have a photos watch face, so here's me and my girlfriend. You can have a face that is good for working out, so it tracks all of your rings. You can have something that has a lot of info, like this infograph watch face. You can also have another photos face and you can cycle through simply by tapping. And there are just endless possibilities for watch faces on the Apple Watch. And then the second part of customization and style is obviously the watch band. The Apple Watch band is the most popular watch band in the world. It sort of reminds me of iPhone cases. If you buy an Apple Watch, it is going to give you the absolute most options and availability when it comes to third-party bands. You can have something like this, which is a singular loop, which is very stretchy. You can also have something like this, which is Velcro. You can also have a band like this, which is a third-party band from Nomad, which is also great for working out, but it is waterproof. You can also get something which is a bit more dressy, like this leather band from Apple, which is great for a night out if you're going out for a nice dinner and drinks. So I'm able to dress up or dress down my Apple Watch no matter what the occasion is, and in my opinion, it always looks good on my wrist. So next up at number 6 is mindfulness and focus. So I want to start with focus. If you open up Control Center, you can be one click away from putting all of your Apple devices in a focus mode, which I love. I use this all the time if I want to go into my work focus or my sleep focus or do not disturb. It's really nice to be able to turn it on right from Control Center on the Apple Watch. And I also love the mindfulness application, which is fantastic if you just want to take a moment and breathe. So the application looks like this. It's a blue icon, and you can simply take a minute or 2 minutes to breathe and reflect. I think my favorite is reflect because it shows some cool animations on the screen. You can see here it says take a moment to pause, and then it's going to show you some really cool soothing animations on the screen. And then when this session ends, it's also going to show your heart rate, and hopefully your heart rate was decreasing through the session. So this is just a really cool feature on the Apple Watch, and it just allows you to take a moment and relax and sort of forget about everything happening in your day. And another feature which sort of ties into this is the noise application. So I don't use this application very often except for the notifications, but it looks like this, and it's going to measure the ambient noise of whatever room you're in. Now what's really cool is the Apple Watch, if you have the notifications turned on for this app, is going to tell you if the environment you're in is too loud and if it could cause hearing damage. So this happens every time I'm at a sporting event where it's loud. My Apple Watch tells me I'm in a loud environment. So it's just kind of cool that the Apple Watch can alert you that you're in a scenario where your hearing could potentially be affected. Next up at number 7 is sleep tracking. The Apple Watch is fantastic for sleep tracking because Apple has recently updated the software where you can get a lot more metrics about your sleep. You can have automatic sleep tracking, so all you have to do is wear your Apple Watch to sleep and it's going to know that you're sleeping and it's going to instantly start sleep tracking. The sleep application looks like this. It's a blue icon. Now, last night I forgot to wear my Apple Watch to bed, but when you are tracking your sleep, you can see it's gonna separate your sleep into 4 different stages. We have awake, we have REM sleep, core sleep, and deep sleep. So it's nice with the recent software update that we can now get info on actually what cycle we are in of sleep instead of simply knowing how long we slept. One more thing I love about sleep tracking is the clock on your wrist. So if you put your Apple Watch into sleep mode, and then I cover the screen, you can see here that when I tap on it, it's going to be a very dim clock. It's nice in the middle of the night that it's not going to blind me when I tap on my watch, but it's going to be a very low brightness clock that can simply show me the time and what time my alarm is for. And then I've said this before, but my favorite part of the Apple Watch and sleep tracking is the alarm. Honestly, I think I care more about the alarm than I do the sleep metrics, because honestly, I really don't care. I hate waking up to an annoying alarm where it's beeping at you and yelling at you. I love when I wear my Apple Watch to sleep, the alarm is simply going to tap you awake with the haptic engine, and it is a much nicer way to wake up. So if you have not tried the alarm on your Apple Watch yet, I would highly recommend trying it. Wear it to sleep one time and just try it. I promise you, you will not be able to live without it once you try it one time. And the final feature I want to talk about on the Apple Watch is for maps. This one often goes overlooked, but it is one of my favorite features on the Apple Watch. So it is almost like having an invisible guide on your wrist at all times. So when you start navigating somewhere on your iPhone inside of Apple Maps, your Apple Watch is instantly going to take over and start giving you vibration feedback on your wrist. So once you learn the vibration feedback, it's almost like having an invisible guide holding your hand and telling you where to go. Because the Apple Watch is going to give you different vibration patterns for a left turn versus a right turn. So in theory, you could be driving and you could put your phone away and you could only be wearing your Apple Watch, and you could be relying on your Apple Watch's vibration to tell you to turn left or turn right. I've actually done this before and it works quite well. It's really cool that your Apple Watch is able to get you places simply with vibrations, and you don't even have to look at your iPhone. And then one more feature I want to throw in this section for navigating is in the Compass application. It's an all-new feature called Backtrack. This is really great because if you are out in the backcountry hiking and you want to remember where you are, you can click on this footsteps icon in the bottom right-hand corner, and it's almost like a breadcrumb feature. So if you go ahead and start Backtrack when you're hiking, it's going to show you exactly where you came from, and you're always going to be able to navigate your way back to where you started. So it's crazy to me that this video was only scratching the surface as to what the Apple Watch can do. And I'm very, very excited for the future of the Apple Watch. Because if this is what the Apple Watch can do after 9 years, I'm very excited to see what the Apple Watch can do in another 9 years. Just imagine how futuristic that watch is going to be and the capabilities it's going to have. It really does blow my mind. I really do genuinely think that the Apple Watch is the most impressive piece of technology that Apple sells. Yes, the Vision Pro is impressive. However, it's a giant piece of technology. It's a giant headset that you strap on your face. This Apple Watch is like a tiny little pebble, and it's able to do so much. I really love this thing, and I want to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. So share your thoughts on the Apple Watch. If you don't have one yet, tell me if you're thinking about getting one. Also, if you own an Apple Watch, tell me which model you have below. With all that said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. My name is Michael with IDB, and I'll see you in the next video.